Hello.
What's the good word, Ian?
I
See, you're frozen. You don't know what to do.
know, it's great. The
It's
word is
great.
good. The word is good. I woke up early this morning. What's your
What are we
deal with waking up
talking?
early? Do you like the waking up early?
Well, we can get to me in a second. What are you talking?
Okay, so woke up around 3 o'clock,
Oh,
real early.
no. That's not early. That's crazy.
That's overnight.
Yeah, that's still the middle of the night.
Woke up. I never do this either. Woke up, couldn't get back to sleep, threw
Oh
in the
yeah, that I
towel.
do.
Threw in the towel. I can always go back to sleep too. Like it's not uncommon. I wake up quickly, but then I always go right back to sleep. Could not get back to sleep. So I threw in the towel. I went downstairs, did a workout for like an hour. Came upstairs, made some eggs, watched as the kids got up and moseyed down all delirious. It was interesting. It was like a whole different view on the day. I'm like never up that early in the day, like watching the whole morning unfold. So it was fascinating.
Gosh, 3
Yeah,
a.m. is unbelievable.
I know. I couldn't get back to sleep. I took a shower, ready to hit it hard. So far, I'm okay. I'm expecting a
Yeah, I
crash
mean
here at
it's
some point.
it's 10 a.m. your time, so talk to me at 2 p.m. Okay,
Yeah,
so
could get ugly.
this is like a coincidence. This is a happenstance. Are
Mm,
you gonna make it? Are you gonna make it a 3 a.m.? Are you a 3 a.m. guy now?
no, I can't be a 3 a.m.
Okay.
guy, but I am tempted to become a morning guy, which I'm very much not a morning guy, but
Morning
it
guys
is
are the worst.
it is interesting. Well, this is part of it. It's like morning people are horrible. I hate morning people.
Hate them.
Um, but it is like interesting to like start your day so early. It is
You know the
fascinating.
worst thing in the world is
What's that?
I tried to be a morning guy for a while and it was
Mm,
better. It was just
yeah,
better.
yeah,
Everything was
exactly.
better.
Everything's
I
better.
was so mad about it.
Yeah.
And I actually became full morning guy in that I tweeted about it, which is just like
Oh, you
you
committed,
hate to do that, yeah.
right? But then you gave it up.
Then I gave it up for sure, yeah. Then
Well,
stuff happened and I gave it up.
I love being up at night. It's like it's quiet. I can like do some
Yes.
work or whatever I want to do. But then I just discovered it's quiet in the morning. If you're up
It
early
is
enough, it's
quiet in the
quiet
morning.
in the morning,
Yep.
which is sort of crazy. I didn't even
And
who would have
it
known?
feels so much less degenerate to be up in the
Oh,
morning.
it's way less degenerate, which is what I don't like about it, though. To be honest with you, I like a little bit of
It's too
degeneracy.
clean. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not like a big degenerate, but like a little, just a little dirt. And I feel
Yeah.
like you're up at night. That's when nothing good happens after midnight and all that. I like to be up in
Mhm.
that hour. When you're up at 6 a.m. or 5:30 and you're hitting it hard, that's clean living right there. It might be too clean for
Yeah.
me, but
Yeah, it's hard to eat a
it
bag of
wasn't treated.
Cheetos at 5:30 in the morning, you
Oh
know.
yeah, exactly.
So here's the other thing though that's hard
Mm,
about trying to be a morning guy. It's easy to miss the morning. Like you can just keep staying up, right? You can just stay up and stay up and stay up. But
right.
if you're like weak of will or weak spirited person, someone who wears
That's me.
glasses, for example, then you can just
Mhm.
hit snooze. You can
Right.
just hit snooze and it's over. Like your big miracle morning that you were gonna get all the
Done.
stuff done that you saved for the morning, it's over.
Well, this is the fascinating part of what I experienced this morning because I was just like awake at 3 o'clock and I was just ready to go. So I
Yeah.
had a whole different outlook versus the
Yeah.
alarm, you're forced up, you're all groggy and crappy. And that's like a whole different morning experience, which I do not like.
No.
But this, like, you just pop up and you're ready to go. Well, it's a little
Okay,
different.
so how much would you pay per month? How much would you pay per month to wake up at 5 a.m. every day feeling that way?
Wow.
Feeling like, oh, let's go, baby.
Man, it's so hard because like what the trade-offs are the thing. It's like, especially like there's some things I like to do at night. Like last night, I was watching Messi. It was Messi night.
Drinking
I'm
cheap
watching
wine because
Messi.
the boss restricted you.
You're on Twitter watching how
Man,
it's
I
going
follow
on.
you.
You know what's up. So I'm drinking the cheap wine. I'm watching Messi. He was on the West Coast, so it didn't end till like midnight or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm already like so now that's already too late. If I'm gonna be wake up at 5 a.m. guy, like, can I go to
Right.
bed at 12:30 or 1. Like,
Okay,
no,
so what
like
are the
that's not
rules?
sustainable.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to go to bed at least by like 11. I mean,
Mhm.
I can survive on 6 hours, but I don't know if
Wait,
I
we'll
can do
get
less
back
than
to
that.
Fantasyland in a second. Did
Yeah,
you go to
sure.
bed at 12 buzzed and woke up at 3 and did a workout?
Yeah.
Dude, you are going
It's
to
crazy.
die. I cannot wait for next week. You have to write down exactly how today goes because
I
next
had
week's
this
podcast is going to be hysterical.
I have to say I wasn't really that hammered. I wasn't like, oh man, I was drunk and I like rolled out of bed and did my workout. I was mostly fine. I was like, because I started drinking kind of early. So then I was actually done with the
Mm,
cheap wine by like 9, I'd say, or 9:30. And then so I had like another 2 or 3 hours there to let it
smart.
wind
Good. Yeah,
down.
good
But
planning.
yeah, it was all right. What
All right,
I
so
can't do the going to bed. Oh yeah, go
let's say midnight's your cutoff. You can
ahead. All
wake
right.
up at 5 feeling like
Okay.
inspired, rested, ready to go.
Okay.
What are you
Yeah.
paying for that?
Well, that's like you're changing my whole identity here. So it's like,
I,
do I want to change my
you
identity? But if
you
I
can
wanted to
just say
change
I
my
don't want the
identity,
goods. I don't want the goods. You don't have
well,
to
I
pay
mean,
at
I
all.
think let's say like if it turns out to be very productive, like if I go through the rest of this day, right? And I've been very productive this morning before we got on here. I've been very productive all morning. If that holds, I mean, it's got to be worth what, like $1,000 a month, right? It's got to be worth
Easy.
something.
Easy. And
Yeah.
if you change the parameters to as long as you're in bed by 12, you wake up at 5 feeling fully rested.
I mean,
And
fully
so
rested is a huge thing. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
huge.
Right.
I'm paying so much to be able to sleep 5 hours a night and wake up fully
Yeah.
rested. I'm paying a lot for that.
Right. You're actually paying for that right now.
I wish I could pay for
Yeah.
that right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
My kingdom to wake up feeling rested.
You know what? This is like a thing. I get thrown off these things. Does this happen to you? So this is making me think of another thing. So like with the working out, like I'm good about the working out. I'll work out 3 or
Yep.
4 days a week, and then I'll get sick,
Yep.
or I'll go on a business trip, or whatever, or we go on vacation, and then that's it. Like the working out stops, and once
Yep.
I'm out of the rhythm, I don't work out again for months, and then tell them like I really got to get back into it. Like I totally forgot about it. That's
Yep.
how I feel like this would be. See, it's like I can wake up early, but I'm gonna go play poker one night. I'm gonna play poker till 4
Yeah.
a.m. And then obviously I'm not getting up at 5 a.m. Now I'm getting up at 10 a.m.
Yep.
And then I'm just
It's
off it,
over.
and I'm like back to staying up late, and I'm night owl again. So I don't know.
Yes.
Maybe that's
Yes,
a bad
that's
personality trait.
exactly how I am. We can adjust the magical parameters to account for that, but that's exactly how I am with regard to like returning text messages or emails or DMs. Like it goes, I don't do it for a day, and then I'm like, oh man,
Right.
I feel bad. I really got to have like a good response, and then it goes 2 or 3 days, and I'm like, well, that was a good friendship. Like
That's it.
that's a pity. Shoot, missed that one.
Yep.
I really did like that guy.
You're well, I guess I don't know. 'Cause
Careful.
I've mostly known you in this phase. I've known you best in this phase where you have many children.
Yes.
But you tend to be well in control of your messaging. Like when I message you, like I don't just get a message back right away. Like you're like offline, or you're
Yes.
disconnected, and then you have a time slot where you are writing people back. Is the impression I get.
That is the reality. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard because if I'm doing something and I read a message and then forget about it, that's where I get in trouble of like, oh yeah, I did read a message 3 days ago from that person. And so I really try not to like even read the messages until, which is another problem, is that they get too many messages and I'm like, I can't open that. I can't open the Twitter DMs. I'm just going to stay on the Twitter timeline.
Right.
But yeah, then I try to like, and it's been real hard recently because I typically do the responding when I'm at the computer. And like we talked about, I haven't been at the computer forever.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like not responding or trying to respond on the go. But I do specifically sit down and like, all right, I'm going to open either Telegram or Twitter DMs and like respond to everyone right now.
Go through. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not good about that. I should get better about that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Modern society, right? Like you're just all the information. You're just used to sucking it in and spitting it out.
Being reachable is not great. I wish I was unreachable.
Yeah. You are sort of unreachable now, like semi. You're You're having a little reachability break, no? Or is it not really holding
Yeah,
up
it's
that
more
way?
of a reachability crisis. I mean,
Right.
people can still reach me. I just don't respond, which is the
Right.
problem.
You need a VA, right? You got to get
I
an
do need a
assistant
VA.
who reads
Yes,
your stuff and
I know.
filters it and gives you the important stuff and all that.
Yes, I've been trying to hire a VA forever.
I
I
know.
hired one. I hired one a couple months ago
Mm,
from the Philippines using Support Shepherd, which is like a outsource agency.
right.
And she was the worst. She was totally scamming me for sure,
Oh, wow.
100%. Yeah,
Holy
like
cow.
totally lying about everything.
Wow.
Like one time we got on a call and something I had asked her to do, I was watching the shared doc right before the call, and she was copying and pasting into the shared doc of everything that I had asked her to do, and you could tell she was pasting from like just some other website. And I was like, "Hey, did you actually spend time doing this, or did you just copy and paste?" And that's the day that I had to let her go. So
Yeah.
it's
I think we
not easy finding a VA.
No, I think we talked about this maybe on here before, but my whole philosophy is they have to be in person. Like, there's just too many things I need them to do in my local life that I feel like it's not worth it if they're not physically here, where I can send them to do things that I
Yeah.
need done, like
So you don't need
in
a
my real
VA, you
life.
need an A. There's
Yeah,
got to be a
just an
better way
A.
to say
I just
that.
need an
Yeah,
A.
you just
Yeah,
need an assistant. Yeah,
right.
just use the
Executive
full word.
assistant. EA. That's what they were called
EA. There we
back
go.
in the day.
EA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the executive assistant. Um. All right. I don't know. Do we have anything else on that?
I woke
You're
up
you're
today. I woke up
yeah.
today local time 8:47 a.m.
8:47 a.m. Wow.
which is why this
How'd you
9
pull
o'clock
that
got
off?
pushed a little bit. Because I
What time
also
did you
woke
fall
up.
asleep?
Yeah, I also woke up local time 4 a.m. to go soothe 2 crying babies.
Mm.
So the night nurse is gonzo. It's just us now.
Oh wow,
Um,
you're not paying anybody
yeah,
for sleep
there's no
anymore. You're
respite. It's just
okay.
us forever. For 18 more years, it's just
Woo!
us. Yeah. Um, so yeah, this morning I went in and they were doing the whole hysterical, let's, cry alternating cycles.
That
Like
sounds fun.
here comes dad, let's set him up. So yeah, I was in there from probably 4:30 to 6:30 and then got back in bed at
Mm.
6:45 and slept till 8:45.
Do they get each other going? Is you get the one to sleep and the other one's still crying, wakes up the one you got to sleep, or does that kind of work
These
itself out?
two, it actually does seem a little bit like that. The
Hmm.
first two, it was not that way at all. These two, it
Mm.
does seem like if the girl is crying, the boy wakes up a little more easily. But hopefully that will subside because they're going to be in the same room for
A
ever.
while. Right.
Yeah. So hopefully they'll figure that out pretty quickly. That's an interesting question: is what age do we switch from twin rooms to gender rooms?
Yeah. I feel like twins, that's a whole, it's like a different rule set
It
there. Like you can
is.
just kind of go like near
Yeah.
forever. I feel like I've known some twins that are like, they were pretty old when they did the switch.
Yeah.
Although you had the two sets, so I guess
I know.
I guess and they're close in age. So I guess
They
you
are.
could even do it earlier.
I
Not
know.
like sort of a little different scenario there.
I know. It'll be interesting. It'll be up to them, of course, but it'll be interesting to see when they start agitating for like, I want to be in a room with all girls and all boys.
Yeah. Or just, I mean, well, you're gonna have this whole dynamic where the two twins are like, are they closer with the twin?
I know.
And maybe they don't want to be apart from the twin.
I know.
They don't care about the gender stuff. They're like, no, I want to be with my twin. Yeah, that's like a whole dynamic.
It's crazy. The dynamics are crazy. That's what I'm trying to get paid. Did you see my tweet about that? I'm trying to get paid for this.
Oh, yes, I did.
said, there's got to be a way that I can capitalize on this.
Yeah.
Bravo
I like this
television
idea.
show, Harvard longitudinal study, something like this is weird and people love weird stuff. So how do I get paid for this?
I feel like you need one more set. I feel like if you had one more set, then you could definitely pull it off. I feel like 4 with 2 sets of twins with only 4 kids, not quite radical enough. But if you had 3 sets of twins and all of them were like 2 years apart, year and a half apart, I feel like that's something. Now you can go to HBO or Lifetime, probably more likely.
It was a good idea. Bravo. I'll have to make my money the old-fashioned way then.
That's a bummer. Nothing worse than making money the old-fashioned way. It's so much better making money other ways.
Nothing worse.
Right?
then
winning
no.
some money,
Oh, would love to
getting
win some money.
finding money.
Windfall? I would take a windfall.
Windfall. Who doesn't love a windfall? When you have to like
Would
grind every
love
day
that.
for years. I mean, it's
It's the
fine,
worst,
but
like idiots.
yeah. I feel like I do feel like we're doing something stupid. That's how I feel every time I get any kind of spam or like text message spam or
Yes.
things like that. I'm like, I'm pretty smart. Feel like I could do this better than these people are
Yep.
doing this and make a lot more money doing it than they're doing.
Yep.
Because like some things are just obvious that they're doing wrong, and I feel like I could fix it and make this bad spammy stuff better and more close more deals, so to speak, on the spam. Like, why are we not doing that? We got to go black hat.
I think it when I hear that, like, oh yeah, my buddy just sold his landscaping business for $7 million,
Right.
and I'm like, what technology enabled that? And they're like, no, landscaping. They mow grass. Shoot, bamboozled again. Or like fence builders. Fence builders, they make a ton of money.
And
they
know how to market
drive
stuff.
trucks that are bigger than houses. They drive like F-450s,
right.
and they climb out of them in their fancy boots, and they're
they
just
got
here
a
to build
ladder.
a fence. Yeah, I'm like, what am I doing wrong? It's a 2016 4Runner, but come on, man. Yeah, I don't know.
And they don't know how to market. Sometimes. Every real world business you ever talk to have no idea about marketing, no idea about branding,
no idea.
Like the way I feel, I'm on like Twitter and like all these guru types where like I'm doing everything perfect, everything's wonderful, it's all amazing, right? Like that's how I would be to them because they don't know, have no idea what's going on.
Yes.
Like I'm some kind of alien genius life form compared to how they think about branding and marketing stuff. And it's like, well, if we just took what we know and did it in my town, like I could just be the dominant force here in the fence building business or whatever.
You could the way that you find a fence builder is you find a fence and you call the number that's on the fence and the owner answers and he's like, well, I don't know. Text me your details. Months. I'll see if I can come out. And you're like,
they're always inconvenienced. They're always inconvenienced
like,
that you
did sorry I called you, but is there a way that I could get a fence built? We'll see.
100% of the time. That interaction is always that way. Or the plumber.
The plumber.
We gotta charge you $200 just to come out. And then, I guess we can do it. Blah blah blah. It's like it's a pain in the butt.
Like, the toilet's leaking. Wow, what'd you do? I didn't do anything, man. The toilet's just leaking.
Man, we're wasting our lives on the internet.
We
thought it was genius, but
we could be out there doing manual labor, and we're in here like a couple of dilettantes.
We're trapped in here.
Yeah,
we could be out there
typing on our little screens.
Man,
oh jeez,
we're not going to.
Should we do some follow up?
Let's do. Yeah, we got lots of follow up. So
lots of follow up.
We'll work it from the top here, I guess. Right? What do we got here?
Lots of follow up on the coffee soda conversation.
Yeah, and I guess then Taylor chimed in on that too. I don't know if it was directly to us, but it was in the same vein.
The sauce.
So John Newmaker, he goes half calf, full calf, like half and half, I guess. Decaf and full calf. Where are you on that, I guess, before we even get too deep in this?
Yeah,
I saw you went for coffee with somebody, so it sounds like you're not totally off.
I'm not totally off. That was a decaf, I'll have you know.
That was decaf? Okay, very nice.
That was decaf. Yep. So that still fits in with my budgeted allowance. So I'm still 1 to 2 half calf in the morning here at home. And then just to feel a little bit of God's sun on my face, I get out of the house and go get my decaf.
You addicts are too much, I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's truly a thing. So this feedback from John Nunemaker was to get Cometeer decaf, which apparently is the best kind of decaf, and it comes in like frozen pucks. There's some pictures in the thread, but it comes in frozen pucks, and he just uses 8 ounces of hot water. And you have coffee, which is like
frozen puck. Look at this thing. Okay, I didn't realize this was this.
Yeah, he's got
level.
A whole drawer full of it.
A frozen puck of coffee.
I gotta be honest, I don't understand the frozen part. They look like Keurig pods, like Keurig plastic things, but they're totally frozen.
You put them in hot water or something like that? Is that what goes on there?
Yeah.
8 ounces of hot water or milk, and you have coffee.
Right?
I don't know about this. I
Here's
love
the
a
thing,
good
though.
coffee scheme, right? Don't you love like when I was drinking coffee, I
Oh,
love the
any scheme,
AeroPress.
yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
we love schemes, and a coffee scheme is one of the best schemes.
Coffee scheme is a scheme. It's an artisanal scheme. Here's the
Sure. Put
problem,
some
I think,
butter in your coffee or whatever.
with
Sure.
the Cometeer is am I using a teapot now? How am I getting 8 ounces of hot water?
Yeah. You got to have a kettle. You got to have an electric kettle. That's the game with tea. If you're going to get into the tea game, you need an electric kettle. And I would suggest getting a good one. I've had the bad ones. The good one's better.
I do love accoutrements, but I don't know if I'm going to become a tea guy enough to like get an electric kettle. So anyway, that's Nuna Maker's comment is check out the Cometeer, which looks like D2C, good branding, all clean, that kind of stuff. So
D2C, that's another thing I feel like I wouldn't mind doing.
Yeah. Although I hear horror stories on Twitter of D2C margins, shipping, returns. It does seem like the margins are pretty rough.
Everybody thinks they're going to be the shaver people, but it doesn't always work out that way.
Yeah. So next one down, Drew Bread Vic hits the Zevia soda. We got a couple of replies about Zevia.
Never even heard of this. I have no idea what it is.
It's because off-brand sodas suck as a rule.
Right.
So that's like you go to a restaurant and you're like, I'll have a Diet Coke. And you're like, actually, we have Maine Root soda. Can I get you a Diet Maine Root Cola? And I'm like, no, give me a Diet Coke.
Even worse, they say they have Pepsi, and you're like,
oh, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, just
okay. Well,
I hate Pepsi.
I have Monopoly money. Same idea.
Does this look like a Coke Zero like thing?
Yeah, Coke Zero like thing. I picked up some Zevia. I went to the local Sprouts next to the apartment studio. Picked up some Zevia.
Don't even know what that is.
Aggressively average cola. I'll be honest.
What you would have expected.
Here's my problem. I think I don't like regular Coke. I like
that's weird.
Diet Coke. And so all these cola replacements.
Lost generation.
Yeah, all these cola replacements are like, we're almost Coke. And I'm like, I don't like Coke. And so I think what I like is maybe aspartame.
Right. I hate aspartame. See, I can't, anytime I taste it, anything, like, this is disgusting. It's gross. I hate everything about it.
It's so good. I just want to like rub it on my gums.
The real sugar. Oh, how can the aspartame's so bad?
It's so good, and it's so good for you. It like makes you forget stuff, and you're like, I don't remember anything now. Yeah,
definitely not good for you.
So Zevia, thanks for the feedback, Drew. It was it is. I will say it like is the only thing that can scratch that itch because it is, zero caffeine, zero sugar, actually clean, whatever. Right. But frankly, I would be more open to trying Coke, caffeine-free Diet Coke, which is basically just like dirty water. I think I would do that before Zevia. So,
isn't that Coke Zero, or is Coke Zero something else?
Coke Zero, here's the thing.
Okay. I'm not up on all my different Cokes.
Yeah. So there's Coke. You know Coke. Mm-hmm. There's Coke. Yeah.
Okay. Drank a lot of Coke in my day.
Yeah, same page there. Then there's Diet Coke, which is like fundamentally different. Tastes completely different.
Right. No sugar.
Tons of aspartame.
Whatever's
God's
in there.
gift to man. Right. Then they were like, oh, wow. People that love Coke want a lower calorie, like better version of Coke, and that is Coke Zero.
Oh, so it still has caffeine.
It still has caffeine, and it still tastes a lot like Coke.
It's closer to Coke.
It is so much closer. And so people are always like, try Coke Zero, and I'm like, no, it tastes like Coke. If I wanted a zero, I would do Dr. Pepper 10, which 10 and 0 are not the same number, but they're close.
Close enough, yeah.
Because I don't like Diet Dr. Pepper. I like regular Dr. Pepper and Diet Coke. Yeah.
Well, I'm fascinated by this whole drinking soda thing in general, because to me, I don't know if it's like a Northeast thing. Maybe there's a little regional difference here, or maybe I'm just not in those circles. But to me, drinking soda is pretty much like in the same ballpark as like smoking cigarettes. Like, I don't see people smoking
Nice. That's
cigarettes, and I
awesome.
don't see
I'm
people
freaking
drinking
James
soda.
Dean then. If it's smoking cigarettes, I'm the coolest guy that ever
I'm just saying,
lived.
I don't see people like, I don't do either one, and I don't see people doing either one. Like, I don't see people ordering Cokes places and things. Like,
What?
not like literally zero, more people than smoking cigarettes, but like it's still like way less than, you know, when I was a kid, just everybody drank Coke all the time. That was the only liquid
Yeah.
there was Coke.
Yep.
Like, everywhere Coke, home Coke, 2-liter gallons of Coke or whatever
Yep.
the thing is, like the whole thing. That's what we had. That's what all anybody drank. Now it's definitely not like that. You know, in people's houses, and then at restaurants, you see people drinking it, but you also see people just having water or having like other beverages. So I don't know. It's interesting.
So embarrassing to order a water at a restaurant. I just can't imagine.
That's why I like
know
Europe,
what's
because
actually
they don't give you the water, but you just get wine. Like, all there is wine. There's no water in European
That's true.
restaurants or Italian restaurants.
Yeah. You know what's actually pretty good is Chipotle's plain soda water. So the button next
like
to the
seltzer.
Sprite,
Yeah.
the button
Right.
next to the Sprite, it comes out ice cold and super bubbly, and so that's good.
Do you know every single one of those machines has that same button? You don't have to go to Chipotle's for that.
Ian.
You can go to McDonald's for that. You can go anywhere for that.
Oh, whoa. This
Yeah,
I'm entering into a new world and discovering things, and you are telling me you're giving me a hard time, okay?
I'm not giving you a hard time.
I'm just dipping my
telling you.
toes literally into the waters.
I
and
just
you're out
wanted
here...
you to be aware, so you don't have to like make a special trip to Chipotle's to get a nice cold seltzer. You can get that literally anywhere that has a soda fountain. So
I love Chipotle's though. Chipotle's is
I feel like
the
it's
best.
fallen off a little bit.
Oh, okay. We got
Don't you
feedback to
think?
get through.
You don't
No,
think
we don't
so?
have time. No, it's
I'm
gotten
gonna
more
try it again.
expensive.
This, well, yeah, that's fine. But like, but I feel like it's gotten worse, like tasting.
No, disagree.
No? All right, I gotta try.
No.
I haven't been in a while because the last few times I had it, it was a little off. And then I've been going to the salsa fresca. I don't know if you have salsa fresca.
No, I don't know
like
what
a
that is.
Chipotle's knockoff, but I think it's more like regional. But all right, I'll try
salsa fresca. Silly name. Won't go there. Last bit of Twitter feedback is Josh Manders says, "What's the good word?" is said a lot here in the Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, Minnesota area. So
interesting.
I'm not crazy.
Maybe
What's
that's
the good
where you got
word
it from.
is a
Somehow
thing.
You picked it up, but not in Texas, right? It's not like you hear. You don't hear people saying it around you.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No, I think that's an Aaron Francis original down here in the South.
Working on the internet, you picked it up somewhere.
Maybe. That is true.
All right. We did have one other email feedback, which I've been trying to read lately, from Joey McKenzie. Thanks, Joey. This is a big, long email. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but I did think the one or two questions here was interesting for us to cover on air. Primarily since this actually just came up from me yesterday. Also, your Laravel /PHP origin story. What's your origin story?
Well, we do have to say that Joey's email is titled "Mostly Praise, a few questions." So I'm already Team praise. Joey. Yeah,
right.
big fan of Joey. So if you want to get to the top
name.
of the queue, mostly praise, a few questions. That's good framing, Joey. Good job.
Interesting subject lines. Yeah.
Yeah. My origin story is pretty basic. I started with ASP.NET when I was like 11 or 12.
Crazy.
And quickly transitioned to PHP no framework and did PHP for like no framework for like 10 years just as a hobbyist. And then the first framework I picked up was Yii, YII. And it was great at the time. I think it was Yii 2 or maybe 1.1 at the time.
I always kind of like that name.
It's so hard to say out loud, though.
It is, yeah.
Yii. What? Yii.
You gotta spell it.
I was deciding between Yii and Laravel 4. I think it was Laravel 4. And I tried to install Laravel 4 locally, and it was like, you need ext-intl for this to work. And I was like, I don't know what that means. And I tried to install Yii, and it worked. And so I just picked Yii, which is kind of funny.
Funny.
So I did Yii for maybe 2, 3, 4 years, and then switched over to Laravel. And the whole time I've just stuck with PHP because I've known it for so long. Like since I was, 13, I've been using PHP, and so it
That's
just
nuts,
feels
man.
so natural to me.
Yeah.
Um, and I've always been so focused on trying to build the thing that I'm building that I don't really get wrapped around the axle on like what should I be using to build this.
All right.
Which somebody the other day was like, "How do y'all avoid shiny object syndrome?" And then my response was, because Laravel gives me literally everything I need to build the thing I'm trying to build, that I don't worry about like, oh, I wonder if I should pick up Astro or,
Right.
Svelte or whatever. Because my goal is not to, I think we've talked about this before. My goal is not to be a great engineer. My goal is to build something
Yeah.
and, either get rich or become a fence guy. So
Get rich or
that's
die
kind of,
trying.
that's right. So I came by it honestly. I was a kid and I liked PHP, and so I've stuck with it.
That's crazy. I wish I could get my kids into PHP or any programming. They're not really into the programming, but
Yeah,
yeah, that's kind of that's like it's so crazy that you've been doing it that long. It's like
I
it's
know.
old school. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, Laravel, we're kind of in the shiny object, right? Like I feel like I'm inside the shiny
true.
object
Yeah,
still.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
so I'm flying around up in the shiny object. Like I don't need a different shiny object.
It feels
And
good.
yeah, it's great. Yeah, mine is I was doing Cold Fusion at the startup-y thing in the .com-ish era, and then the lead or the CTO, I guess he was like, for this next thing, we were going to use PHP. And I was like, this thing's terrible because like Cold Fusion gave you all this awesome stuff, and PHP
Mm-hmm.
had none of the awesome stuff, and also had no packages or libraries or frameworks or anything. And I was like, this is terrible. Why are we doing this?
Because it has a
And then
boss ass name, Cold
right,
Fusion.
right. I know Cold Fusion is so good.
So
PHP
cool.
was so bad back then, but anyway, but then I started doing my own stuff, and I was like, well, I could pay for Cold Fusion server, and you have to license it by the server and like all that stuff. And I'm like, well, that's not going to work. So I'll just use PHP because now I know it. And even though it doesn't have anything and there's nothing useful in it at all, it's all like the most base layer, and I have to invent everything. I guess I'll just use that. But yeah, PHP is much better now, obviously. But yeah, that's kind of it. And that was like 2002 or something. So yeah.
But then
right,
don't forget, you discovered Taylor.
I did discover Taylor.
You're like, if I knew a single musical agent to a single giant star, I would say you're like that person, but I don't. So imagine that I know who Dr. Dre's agent or discoverer is,
right.
and you're like that person.
Should yeah, I can give that story super quick. I was looking to hire dev, and it was funny because like I found Laravel, and I was like, this is awesome. I want to like do stuff and just like the vibe of it, the docs and all this stuff. Everything we all love about Laravel, even back then in version 2, I think it was, or maybe late version 1, whatever it was. And then I was like, I should just hire this guy. And then I went on some website. I was like, it was like this programmer's website. It was like, was it like something tree or code tree or
Code tree was the thing, but I don't remember what it was.
It was like you posted your code snippets, and like it was like a social network of sorts for coders, but they had some kind of feature. I mean, I'd never even used this thing. I just found him on there, and it was like you can flag if you're looking for work, and he had done that. So I was like, oh, let me reach out to him, and that was it. And he came and worked here, and the rest is kind of history, and did a lot of cool stuff.
That's why you're the godfather.
That's why I'm the godfather, yeah. And then I just found out everybody on the internets here was doing that first commit on GitHub tool that's been going around, and my first commit was in Laravel. My first public
that's cool.
PR on GitHub was in Laravel, and the number 200 or something like that. And then Taylor said that's out of 35,000, so pretty early. Not many out there can top that.
No.
Early on. I got an eye for these things, but I don't always turn them into money, but I do have an eye for them.
Well, that's step one.
Yeah,
having good taste. Having good taste is step one.
Yeah.
I don't know what step 2 is, but step 3 is profit. So we'll figure that out.
We'll do that later. All right. That's all. We had a lot of follow-up this week. All right, a lot
good
of
follow-up. We love the follow-up.
Let's get that. I like to clear that out to cleanse my mind. All right, there we go. Just do a little housekeeping. All right. So what is this? You intrigued me with this. The note is Aaron bought a chili pad I'm very curious what a chili pad is. I
Have
don't
you
know if
looked
this is
have you looked
some.
anything up?
No, I have not. I
All
didn't know if
right,
this is some kind of
give me your
Texas
takes.
thing or what this is. I literally have no idea. A chili pad. Is it like a thing you actually slap on your body to put like
Okay,
the stuff inside you because it's good for your health?
reasonable.
Is it a some kind of pad for you and your mistress? Is it that kind of thing?
You mean me
Is
and my
it
wife?
well, it's
Yeah.
like a chili pad. Like this is some other kind of thing.
Okay.
Is it something for your bed? Like it's like keeps
Oh,
you cool at night or something like
oh,
that?
oh, getting
Keeps you hot at
hotter.
night? Keeps you warm at night?
Getting colder, getting hotter. It is a
Uh,
pad for your bed
okay.
to regulate
Wow.
temperature. Yeah.
All right. So this is like this. What's that other one that everybody uses? Like,
Bed
is that
jet,
like? No, I never heard of that one. The one that like it's like suit. Is it like Sleep 8 or something like that?
8 sleep.
8 Sleep.
I
Yeah.
don't know if 8 is a temperature. Is 8? Oh, it sure
I don't know.
is. How about that?
But your thing's not an 8 Sleep, right?
No, it's a chili pad.
Okay. I don't know what a chili pad is. Let me look this up.
So, the
Chili
chili
pad.
pad by Sleep Me,
Mm,
bed cooling system.
Sleep Me. Okay.
Um,
It is similar to the Sleep 8. It's like an external unit that's pumping
yes,
stuff
pumping
around.
I think cold liquid through a
Right.
bed topper.
Okay.
Here's the deal. We got to get the sleep going, man.
I love the schemes. Yes.
The sleep has got to happen.
Right. Definitely
And
key.
right now the sleep is not happening. I
Oh
woke
man,
up
still not
a
there.
couple times last night, and
Mm-hmm.
so we're in this rent house. Rent house doesn't have a ceiling fan. I know ceiling fans in bedrooms are like ugly and bad design. I love a ceiling fan in a bedroom.
Right.
I just love to be like, I want to sleep in a vortex.
Right.
And this is one of those houses where like the air ducts like have uneven distribution. So it's like, oh, the kids' room is it's kind of pleasant. You walk back into the master bedroom and it's like, oh my God, it's a furnace. There's a jet
Right.
engine running back here. And so I wake up a few times a night just like sweaty.
Yeah,
Like
temperature is a big thing for sleep. Yeah.
oh, it's the freaking worst. And so I'm never going to get better if I don't sleep. And I'm
Yep.
never going to sleep if it's 1,000,000 degrees. We've
Right.
already got like some box fans and stuff going back there, and
Yeah.
it's like it's
You need
not
something
working.
more industrial.
I need something a little bit better. And
Got
so
some kick.
yeah, so I have a friend who has a chili pad, and I texted him and I was like, "Hey, what's the deal?" And he's like, "It's worth every penny. I used to wake up a bunch,
Mm.
and now I sleep in a t-shirt because sometimes it's so cold and I don't wake up at all."
Wow.
And I was like, "Man, that sucks because it's expensive, but it sounds really
Right.
great." And he said, "You can come over and sleep in the middle if you want to try it out."
Oh, you should have done that. You should have logged that.
Oh man, I was like, "Nah, it's all right." So I got one. I got half of it. So you can buy them. They come in like halves, right? So you and your sleep mate can have a different temperature. Sleep mate was for the general public. In my case, that would be my wife.
Right.
You can have different temperatures. She doesn't have a problem sleeping, so we just bought half right now because it is expandable. You don't have to like buy a whole new set.
That's
So
kind
it
of
should
cool.
arrive today.
Okay, you haven't
So
used it yet. I see.
I haven't
Okay.
used it yet, and you like
Yep.
so it goes on top of the mattress under the sheets and stuff.
Right.
And it has a little external unit that has little hoses plugged into it, and you just you set the temperature you want. So you're like, I want to sleep at 65, and it just keeps
Right.
it at 65. So don't know, man. We'll see.
I like it. I'm up for this. I think yeah, that seems like a reasonable thing to try out. Everybody swears by these things. I'm more familiar with the 8 Sleep or whatever that one's called, but people seem to I always see people talking about it and they're like, I love it. It's the best thing ever. So I like it. I like a gadget. I love a good gadget.
Love a gadget. Yeah.
Yeah. A gadget's going to solve all your problems. That's always the belief.
I think so.
So I like
yeah,
that.
if not this one, the next one that I discover. Yeah.
But no, this seems good. So I mean, well, you'll have to report back. So it's arriving today. So by
should arrive today.
Next week, you should have data for us on how you're feeling and all that. Are you a Apple Watch to bed man?
I'm not an Apple Watch at all, man.
Oh, well, there you go. Are you in any? You don't have any. You're not sleep tracking or any of that kind of stuff.
No, and I promised on Twitter that I wouldn't start saying my sleep stack because all these bros are like, oh, my sleep stack is I
I like
do.
that term.
Yeah,
Just
it's
see if that
bad.
domain is taken. Is that domain available?
Oh, no
Sleepstack.com.
way. No,
You
that's
gotta
totally
get that. Do a
taken.
little
They talk
affiliate
about
business
all
there.
their vitamins and their,
Yeah.
their white noise and their chili
Right.
pads. So, no, I don't do any sleep tracking at all. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know how useful it would be. I
Yeah, I
know
don't know.
that
It
I
just
wake
seems
up.
like it would stress me out. Like I'm like, oh
Right,
man. It
exactly.
says like I only got 74% optimal sleep last night, or no, I feel terrible.
Yeah.
I don't think I need that much data. It's too much data.
It's too much data.
Yeah.
You know what I would pay for? It would be hard to
Mm.
pull off. Is I would pay for a sleep tracker that lies to me and tells me I did better. But I would have to
I love
believe it's
that.
honest, right?
Right.
So that's the hard part.
Yeah.
Because what
Yeah.
I want is a sleep tracker to be like, man,
You want
way to go,
placebo.
bud. Yeah,
Yeah.
92%. Now then I'm
Right.
like, oh,
You
I
feel
thought I was
great.
tired,
Right.
but I hit 92%. I actually do feel great. But
It seems like it
the whole thing
might
with
just
placebo is you can't know about it.
yeah. I feel like that might not be good for you, to be honest with you. It's like you actually do
Yeah.
have a problem sleeping. You need to fix that
Huh.
problem. Pretending you don't have a problem does get you pretty far, to be honest, but then at some point you just crash and burn.
Oh,
Not
that's
optimal.
interesting. You don't
Yeah.
think lying to myself is a good long-term
As
strategy?
well. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I just play one on here, but
Right, but you are
I
a
don't think so.
podcaster, which is
Right, I'm a
better than a doctor.
podcaster.
Yeah,
Um,
interesting.
I'm very excited to hear about this because I've even though I've heard tons about these things, I've never known anyone, I don't think, or at least I haven't had a discussion with anyone I've known about this. So I'm looking forward to this analysis here. Maybe you're gonna be like, boom, this is it. I feel 1,000 times better. Let's do it.
That without setting my hopes too high, that is my hope. Boom, this is it. I feel 1,000 times better. So
right.
I'm not
Right.
setting myself up for disappointment
No,
at all.
that
I'm
seems
afraid.
fine. That's the way to do
Yeah.
it. Yeah. All right. What else we got? So you tweeted about you? I know you. I mean, you wrote a blog post about this. So you found a little time at the computer.
I'm back, baby.
You're back to write up a blog post. So tell us about that.
I wrote a blog post. So this is part of the Walk and Talk series. This blog post originally was dictated by me to voice memos on my iPhone.
Interesting.
And then sent to DeepGram for transcription, and then sent on to ChatGPT for cleaning up and writing of the blog post. So I did all of that. I dictated it early in the year, probably early January. And finally got it transcribed and sent it to ChatGPT for final writing, and it came back from ChatGPT kind of crappy. So I still haven't figured out the best, I guess, prompt or way to set it up so that it writes a good blog post. But it was 40% useful when it came back from ChatGPT. So I had the ChatGPT written version and then the full transcript below it, and I ended up taking most of it from the full transcript. But anyway, the bulk of the material was written just by me talking, which is really nice because it's way easier to talk. You can do it on the road, you can do it on a walk. It's just way easier. And so the other day I went to Barnes and Noble and was like, I go back to Planet Scale March 8th, which is in 2 weeks.
Oh wow. Okay.
And so yeah. Oh no. I'm not well yet. I was supposed to be well. So I'm trying to do a little bit every day to be okay, I can, rebuild my work muscle. And so this day I was like, I'm gonna write this blog post. And so I did, and it's kind of a self-referential thing because the title of the blog post is "Do Literally Anything." And the whole theory is I often get overwhelmed by all of the stuff that I either want to do or the stuff that I have to do.
Yeah.
And kind of like we talked about with texting friends back, I see all the stuff I have to do, and I'm like, well, pity.
Yep.
Pity that nothing can be done. That's too bad. There's too much to do, so I can't do anything. That's a real shame. And the solution has always been, and I always have to remind myself, just do anything.
Yeah.
Just like start anywhere.
It
And
is excellent advice.
I have found that the motivation comes from the action, and the action does not come from the motivation. Like once
Right.
I start doing
Yeah.
stuff, I'm like, yeah, I can do
Yeah.
stuff. Let's
Right.
do some stuff.
I know how to
But
do things.
if I just sit there, or I like, I'm scrolling Twitter and like, God, I got so much to do. I should
Yeah.
worry about that. Nothing ever gets done.
Yeah.
So that was the impetus behind the whole thing.
I do feel like kind of that's also like an offshoot of your sort of max effort era in a sense of like because
Mm-hmm.
you're kind of doing a lot of things, and I feel like I know when I get doing a lot of things, then you kind of get that crushing sensation start
Yes.
creeping in that like, well, I have this thing I started that I didn't finish, and this thing that I should do something with, and now you have a huge long list of things you want to do something with, and then you're just overwhelmed, and you're like, well,
Then you're just
forget it,
overwhelmed.
like, yeah.
I think when we
So
started this show, you were actively shedding responsibilities,
I
right?
was. That's right. Yeah, I've shedded a chunk of things. I'm still working. I've got a couple ideas in this regard, but
Yeah.
more to do. But yes, I have been shedding, and that's been good. Like, because you just build up these things. So like shedding,
Yeah.
shed anything, and then do anything. The shedding is
Yes.
doing in a sense. So you can like when you do anything, you end up with something that you don't want anymore. You got to take the time to get rid of it, and then shut it. But yeah, I thought it was a great article, and just like totally great. It's just like just getting in there. You're always surprised at how much you can do too. It's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I just did a couple hours here, and like
Yep.
I got way farther than I thought I was going to get, or it's better than I thought it was going to be, or all those kind of things. So people seem to like it. What's the feedback been?
Feedback has been great. I was very, very pleased by the feedback. Yeah, a lot of people really liked it. Some people that I like look up to really liked it, which was a lot of fun.
Cool.
Like Ben Ornstein really liked it. Jason Cohen really liked it. The god of
Cohen, the Godfather.
bootstrapping.
He's the real Godfather.
I know he's the real Godfather.
He's the bootstrapping SaaS Godfather.
Yeah, and so that's fun. It's always fun to get good feedback from people that you like. Yeah, and it makes me feel good. I feel like I enjoy writing. I happen to think that I'm good at it, and it's nice when I put something out there and people are like, "Yeah, this is really good." It's like, "Oh, cool." So
that's kind of interesting because like, so how do you then integrate? Like, you tried to integrate ChatGPT, and it didn't work. But what do you think about that? Because like, so your kind of unique voice is what you like and think you're good at. But then obviously there's the benefits of like, if I can offload some of this, then obviously I can maybe do more or do any versus doing none. So I guess, are you now off? Are you dissuaded on ChatGPT? Are you feeling like you just got to dial it in more? Like, what do you think about all that?
So the way that I thought about it after I saw the output come back, first I was disappointed because I was like, "Man, this is generic."
Yeah.
But the way that I think about it now is it's like someone else wrote a version of the idea. And while I won't use someone else's version of the idea, it was helpful for me to look at it and read it and see, like, did anything that ChatGPT wrote evoke any emotion? Did they have any good turns of phrase that I liked? Or did they have, I think part of my prompt is like, don't introduce new ideas. Like, I really want you to take this transcript and clean it up into like more of a narrative, like a post.
Yeah.
But as I'm reading the one that comes back, does it spark any new ideas in me? And so I think in terms of like offloading, the bulk of the offloading was me recording it via voice and transcribing it. That was like a huge amount of a head start. Because when you sit down and stare at the blank page, it's really intimidating.
Yeah.
But when you record via voice, you can only move forward. Like, you can't go back and say like, actually, I don't like the way that I worded that. You just got to plow through it. And so then you sit down with a first draft that's kind of crappy. And you sit down with a, first and a half draft from someone else's point of view, ChatGPT. And then you're like, great, I'm going to take all these raw materials and I'm going to mold them into what I want to say. And I think the other thing that I've really found interesting this time was the benefit of like letting it stew. Because I like, I dictated this thing and then I'm like, I'm done with it, but it's like still in the background. And I'm like, yeah, I could, this is another good point, or like, actually, this is
Right.
also the solution for when I'm feeling underwhelmed and I don't know what to do. And like,
Right.
so having distance between, writing it the first time and then like editing and refining it, I think was really helpful. So I'll still use it. I do wish the ChatGPT could adopt my voice a little bit more. But I don't know.
Do you
I'll
tell it
see
to
if I can get
write
there.
like Aaron Francis? Because it's probably trained on you a little bit.
So what I did was I took all of the text from one or two of the articles that I felt like were most me,
Mm,
and I fed it in and said, analyze this for like voice, tone, and style or something.
mm,
And so I'm telling ChatGPT, what do you think the voice, tone, and style is?
right.
And then I take that and I put that back into the prompts for the next one that says, use this voice, tone, and style. And so I'm
Right.
like, I'm trying to speak your language, man. Like, just write like this thing that you told me. So I don't know. I don't know. I would have to ask it if it knows who I am. I would doubt it.
No,
But
I guarantee you it knows. Yeah, I would try just that because you've
that's
written enough and
interesting.
your name's been out there enough that like it knows. I mean, it knows me, and I've written less than you for sure, and it has a
Interesting.
pretty good analysis of that. It had like I tried to. One of the first things when it first came out, even I was like, who has such a unique style of a certain type of writing is Taylor. Like
Uh-huh.
specifically around naming things.
Uh-huh.
And so I was like, oh, you like name a product, whatever. I gave it just some like sample thing, like Taylor Otwell would. And it's like, oh, Taylor Otwell is known for his like succinct and blah 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 stuff. And I was like, man, that's like him. That's like exactly like it's like perfect. It
That's
knows.
awesome.
So that was actually really cool. So yeah, I think you'd be surprised.
Do you want to try this? What should I ask
Yeah,
it?
let's do it. Let's do it live.
Who is Aaron Francis?
Yeah. I don't know if your
ask
name's
myself
common,
this every day.
But
who is Aaron Francis? The problem is there's a guy on Love Island named Aaron Francis.
That's what I mean. So you might have to give it more of like, PHP developer Aaron Francis or like whatever. I don't know.
Oh,
or your
hell yeah.
Did it?
All right. Look at this. God, I feel
give
like
it
the
to
king of
us.
the world.
Give
This
it
is
to
awesome.
us.
I gotta keep this to myself. All right. Who is Aaron Francis? The ultimate question. Multiple individuals known as Aaron Francis, each with a distinct profession and background. Depending on the context, here are the primary figures named Aaron Francis. Number one, Aaron Francis, the software developer and content creator. Number one. Suck it, Aaron Francis. I'm number one. Okay. He identifies as a software developer, content creator with a focus on educational content related to web development, specifically Laravel. Yes. Strong presence on YouTube where he makes videos, shares insights on software development. He has been involved with PlanetScale as a developer educator platform for MySQL. His professional journey also includes an interesting transition from being a CPA and tax accountant to embracing software development and content creation. It knows everything about me.
All right,
That's amazing.
One follow-up. Ask it about your writing style. What's, Aaron Francis, the software developer's writing style or whatever.
Okay. Also, can we just pour one out for Aaron Francis, the professional Australian rules footballer, and Aaron Francis, the reality TV personality? Man, if you want to be number one, you can't be on TV. You got to create content about Laravel. All right, what do I say? So I say, what do you know about the writing style of Aaron Francis, the software developer and content creator? That's like a cool title. I love that.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. Man, this is weirding me out.
See, I told you I'd know you.
That's great. I gotta reassess like my internal view of myself. I was like, there's no way anyone would ever know me. Here we go. Is his known for a writing style that mirrors his professional ethos, approachable, informative, and engaging. He values sincerity and optimism, which is evident in the way he communicates technical, complex manners in a way that's easy to understand and relatable. Nice.
I mean, that sounds amazing.
It sounds amazing. Here's a closer look at what based on the principles he holds dear. I do hold these principles dear. And it gives me like a wall of text. But the bullet points are personable and conversational, optimistic and supportive, educational yet accessible, actionable and practical, and motivational.
I think that is the real Aaron Francis. That's
awesome. That's awesome. Freaking great.
Now you're gonna have to go maybe after the show and feed your notes into this and
I
just tell it to write it
am.
like Aaron Francis and see what it does with that. That's gonna be very
Yeah,
fascinating. We're gonna
this
have to follow
freaking
up with that.
rules.
Oh yeah, see that?
Look
See
at this.
this.
Whether listen, dear listener, whether you're a budding software developer or simply curious about technology, his approachable style ensures that you'll find value and encouragement in his work. That's amazing.
I mean, this is just a whole nother level of interesting stuff of like the benefits of your get out there mentality, right? One of the
Totally.
benefits of those of us who've gotten out there a little bit is like we are inside the machine now. And that has potential benefits. Like now, obviously, there's people suing people because they don't want to be in the machine without permission, blah, blah. Personally, I like being in the machine. Like, put me
Yeah,
in
who
there.
cares? You're not gonna
Like, I don't
win.
care about
Get
that.
over it.
Yeah, I'm not going to make this. I don't care about the $3 you're going to pay me for my
Yeah.
20-year-old blog post. Like, I'm in there. Now I can say, write this like Ian Landsman, and it actually does come out like sort of like something I would write. So I think that's
Amazing.
kind of useful. God, your mind is blown. I love this.
My mind is actually blown. This is wild.
Yeah. You're going to be able to utilize this. This is going to be good for you.
Cool.
Even
Good
just
job,
for outlining
Ian.
and stuff.
Look
Even
at
if not
this.
even having it writing the whole thing. I feel like you could be like, hey, take these notes and like create an outline of an article.
Yeah.
You know, like it might sometimes I feel like it is better when you step it through things than just like when you just give
Yeah,
it the raw
totally.
materials, it comes out like not always the best. But then if you like guide it down the path, it's a little better. So you could be like outline it like Aaron Francis would with, you know, some other
Yeah.
stuff and then write up the article based on the outline or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
my point of view on it is I'm trying to get it to do I don't really want it to do like idea generation, you know?
Right.
And so like, you know, generate the outline is great because then I can fill it in, or take this transcript and clean it up is great because it like uses my ideas. But I don't ever want to be in a spot where I'm like, hey, write me an article about, you know,
Right.
the benefits of waking up early. And I read it and I'm like, sure, whatever.
It's good enough. Throw it out
Yeah,
there.
good enough. So I don't
Yeah.
know. That's where I'm trying to use, you know, I'm trying to get better about using it in general because I feel like I need to I need I need the leverage. Everyone else is going to have the leverage, and I need to
Right.
have the leverage as well. And so this is one of those experiments to use it in a way that I find is congruent with what I want to do in life, you know.
Yeah, well, this is also one of the things where I think this has actually changed my thinking on a number of things that I don't necessarily want to get into yet totally, but
Ooh.
I always do this on this is my whole
I
thing on the
know.
show. It's like
I
5 years from
know.
now they'll be like he's still dropping hints and stuff,
Uh-huh.
but like Google, whatever, they've had some weird stuff with the Gemini
Yeah.
AI stuff, but one of the cool things is they're working on the large context windows of like 1 million or
Oh
10
yeah.
million tokens,
Crazy.
and I think that's going to be really cool, is even for stuff like this, because now you can just give it everything you've ever wrote, and you can be like,
Yes.
okay, here's everything I ever wrote, and what do get the tone off that rather than just like two
Yep.
articles, whatever. I mean, and somebody like you is even a little different because it's already got everything you've ever written
Sure.
and is
Yeah.
trained on it already deeper, which is even better than when you just shove it in the prompt. But still, you can like give it a bunch more information about whatever you're trying to do, which I think is going to make it a lot better versus
Yep.
now we're kind of a little more limited in how much you can shove in there in one go. But yeah, so I think that changes a lot in a lot of applications actually, to be able to use the big context window and not have to slice and dice it up so much.
Try to
Not so
string
much.
it all together yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting for, I think, people that are these like obsessive second brainers where they
yeah,
have just like huge digital archives that they can then literally dump the entire thing in and be like, hey, so tell me what my blind spots are. And be like, well, you
right,
certainly write a lot about this. And like,
right.
wow, that would be really cool.
What do you think about I don't know, what do you think about AI tools in general? Like, I feel like stuff's starting to integrate. Like Notion had it initially for like helping you write, and then now it's
Yeah.
moved to I think a better position of like more second brainish. Like, hey, let's
Yeah.
like ask yourself questions about whatever you want about the stuff you've written inside Notion, which I think makes more sense.
Yeah.
But I've also never actually used it, so like. I
Yeah.
feel like there is this layer of like AI is just going to be injected into everything for us, but like
Hmm.
in reality, are we going to use it as much as people want us to use it? I don't know. Maybe.
I think the best Well, first of all, Notion's the worst. Just want to get that out there.
What
I
do you
think the
like? What's your
best
Notion? Your Trello, or what do you do for Notion-like
um
things?
Obsidian is where I keep like notes
Oh,
and stuff.
Obsidian. Okay, well, that's
Yeah.
just like open
Uh,
source Notion or whatever, basically. Just a
don't
wiki.
don't talk down to
I mean,
Obsidian
it's
like that.
fine. I know everybody's. I
Slander
know
it
it's
in
got
that
a
way.
cult following. I actually didn't even
It's
know about it until
it's
like
fine.
2 months ago. Yeah.
It's good. It's got
Okay.
markdown, it's got keyboard shortcuts, it's fine. I just
Okay.
don't like this whole second brain thing. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I want to
I
forget
love the
stuff. Forgetting
idea of
stuff is
it
a
though.
feature.
I like the
Yeah,
idea of the second brain, but I don't want
but
to have to
then
build it.
you have to build it and you
Yeah,
have
I
to
don't want to build it.
maintain it and you have to
Yeah, I don't
spend
want
all
to
your
do that.
time worried about like, oh, my tags and my folders and my
Right.
formulas and
Yeah. Right.
I gotta like write down my mood every day and what I ate for lunch. I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't, why? What am I getting out
Yeah.
of that?
Yeah. I don't like
Nothing.
any of that part. That part's all
It's so,
terrible.
no, it's all terrible.
Yeah.
It's all terrible. If you have a second brain, that's great for you. um so I think the best AI stuff is going to be invisible. I think this whole like,
Right.
let's, why don't you chat with AI about your notes? I'm like, no, you tell
Yeah.
me. You tell
Right.
me what I should be thinking about or what's valuable, or like maybe in certain cases asking my notes like is anything, I can't even come up with a good example, is interesting. But I think in most cases I just want somebody with a feature brain or a product brain to be thinking like, what's the best use of AI here? We don't even have to call it AI. Just give me like a
Right.
just, sidebar of suggestions that like blows me away with how relevant it is. That's the kind of
Right.
stuff that I'm hoping for in the future. And I think in terms of like generation, I've already hit on it. I want it to do certain hard work for me, but not generate new ideas most of the time, unless I'm in like a brainstorming phase.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I think like not everything has to be called AI is definitely a big thing. Like some things it
Yeah.
makes sense. If the AI is doing a lot of heavy lifting for part of it, it makes sense. But if it's like, but I do feel like a lot of the best features will be stuff where it's not like that. And it's like all the stuff we just said about it sucks to build tags for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like let the AI figure out what
Yeah.
tags that something should have, and you don't even think about tagging it. It just tags it, and that's great. And most of the time, it just does a good enough job. And who even cares if it hallucinates one weird tag once in a while? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because most of the time it does an okay job. Like that would be really cool, and take some burden off you and all that kind of stuff. So
Perfect example. Google Photos. Google Photos is
yeah,
the perfect example of seamless AI because
yeah,
I can search for like, my brother's name is Jonathan. I can search for Jonathan on the beach 2016, and
yeah,
it'll find pictures of my brother on the beach in 2016. I'm like, we were there at this time, and it just does it. And
yeah,
that's what I'm looking for. I don't want to
yeah,
categorize photos. I want to say Christmas 2001, and it pulls up all of the pictures from Christmas 2001.
yeah.
That's perfect.
That is crazy how long Google's had that, too. It's
Yes, I
like all this
know.
AI stuff seems new, but it's really like the machine learning version of AI has
Yeah,
been
yeah, yeah.
around now for like 10 years, and they've been tagging people and figuring
Mm-hmm.
out that this is a cat or a dog or whatever for the whole time.
The way that it can figure out which baby is which, I'm like, I can
Yeah,
barely
that's kind of crazy.
understand which baby is which.
Yep, yep. That is crazy how it can recognize the faces and everything. So
Yeah,
yeah, I do like Google Photos for that. It's so much better than the Apple stuff, but I'm otherwise in the Apple ecosystem.
I
So
know.
I used to like sync it over to the Google Photos, but then that's like a pain in the ass. So I don't
We
bother.
use, Jennifer and I use Google Photos for our entire family library, and then we will download, the top 0.1% and put them on the shared photo stream for like grandparents and cousins and
Right.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
Actually,
the only problem is everyone's on the Apple shared photo stream.
right. Keeps you in the ecosystem.
It does. It works.
You know what I just got for myself? I'm gonna get one. I don't know what it's called now, of course. Let me go look back at it quick. Years and years ago, I tried one of those digital picture frames, and it was
Oh
like
yeah.
trash,
Kitschy.
obviously.
Yeah.
Um, but now they're not trash. I have one, and it's not trash. So now I'm going to get one like for my parents, and then you can just sync stuff to it, and it's just like the picture frame just updates with like new pictures of the grandkids and stuff like
What's the
that.
screen like?
It's not bad. It's this is the one I have is a 10-inch, and then they I think just came out pretty recently with a 15-inch.
15 inch.
Yeah, this one is called the Aurora, Aura, or Aura. Carver.
AURA.
Yeah, it's on Amazon, but it's like a pretty slick package. It was easy to set up. It was not complicated at all. It's like an app. You load photos into it. You can email photos into it. I think there's like some automated stuff, whatever. I just put in like 50 or 60 photos from like my top favorite ones, and it worked awesome. It's like $150. The 15-inch ones, like 300. But yeah, it's like pretty low profile. Like we have it on the mantle. If I had the 15-inch one, I'd probably think about that more as like a wall thing, I guess.
15 inches
Pretty big.
huge.
Yeah, but maybe they have a 7-inch too. I'm not sure, but I have the 10-inch. It's awesome. Like it's just rotating photos, and like there's different settings, and it works, and it's great. Like the resolution's like pretty solid, so it doesn't look all grainy and funky. And yeah, so
Yeah, this looks pretty good.
it's pretty good for like.
Man, that
the
15
price.
inch is big, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And what's cool too is they kind of know that you might want to like do this as a gift, so they have a whole setup for that, where like you can receive it, load it all up with stuff, and then like give it to somebody
Smart.
else, and it has some awareness of that you've done that and whatever. I haven't actually gone through that process with the one I want to give my parents yet, but so yeah, pretty cool.
Anti-glare matte finish screen. That's what I was looking for.
Yep.
Because the old ones were bad. It was very clearly LCD, like super bright, reflective screen.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good. I mean, obviously it's still like a backlit photo as compared to like the one on your wall that's not bright like that. But otherwise it looks really good. Cool. I like it.
Aura. Cool, I like it.
Yeah. There you go. Product recommendation. All right. I don't know. Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Covered a lot of ground. We managed to not be very technical, but we got a few little ChatGPT technical things in, and
we mentioned it briefly, but Taylor's back on the sauce. He quit Coke Zero for a week and tweeted today the 5 things I learned about quitting, and he's like, life sucks without Coke.
Yeah, so he's a Coke Zero man. So now I understand the difference, though.
Yeah.
If I was going to get into that game, I would just go probably real Coke. But if I didn't for some reason want to go real Coke, I would definitely do Coke Zero, not Diet. But yeah, the Coke Zero. You gotta have what you gotta have. You gotta have some vices, right? Everybody's gotta have a few vices.
Speaking of vices, have we talked about this Zen stuff?
I don't know what you're talking about. So
ZYN. Or maybe it's ZYNN. No, just ZYN. Nicotine pouches.
Okay. I do not know.
Should I get into nicotine?
Are you a nicotine guy?
Have you ever smoked? I've never smoked or done anything. No.
Maybe this is the time.
Yeah, maybe this is the time.
I mean, this website is all time awesome. I absolutely love this website.
Are you getting the full product contains nicotine warning?
Yes. Like there's nothing. It's just like a login screen and
just a login
warning
and
at the top.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I can't even. Yeah, I'm not gonna get past it because I'm not gonna register for.
Well, no, there is a sidebar menu, but I don't think it talks about the products anywhere. It's like the reward program. Oh no, I guess you can't.
I'm only getting login. Everything I click on, I have to log in.
I guess they want only to be 21.
Yeah.
Where did you just saw this around? I take it this is like a thing.
Yeah, I just saw it around. Cool kids on Twitter using Zen.
Who's smoking? Who's using nicotine? I thought we were done.
Nobody's
everybody's
smoking.
like on
They're using
weed
Zen.
or whatever.
It's different.
Let me just tell you, a 3letter.com. I mean, right there, I'm impressed already. Like this makes me want to smoke. Like or get these pouches.
It's not smoke. It's a pouch.
I could just slap it on, and I think it's gonna hop you up. I don't think you should get this. I think when you get nicotine, if you're not used to it, it's gonna have a caffeination type effect on you. I believe.
I know. Doesn't that sound awesome?
Just go all in. Don't you want to be the guy? Just like imagine you're in the 70s. You're just going all in on all the vices. You're just gonna go out all night drinking. You're just gonna be smoking, drinking, partying, riding a hog down the long, straight highways of Texas. That's what you're gonna be doing. You're gonna have a leather jacket.
Man, smoking's cool. If I could have like a leather. If I could have like a leather jacket and a freaking cigarette hanging out, I would be the king of cool.
You're James Dean. We already decided that earlier.
I'm James Dean. No, I can't smoke. Smoking's terrible for you.
Man, don't you love this website? This website is fabulous. This huge warning at the top. It's
I
just
can't get
like
past.
it's
I'm not.
so
I'm on Google
good.
Images now.
It's perfect. This might be the perfect website. It's so good. I just love this website. This is what a website's supposed to be. You know what? There's nothing fancy. It's a huge ass banner at the top that says this will kill you and log in to
Log
get
in
some.
here.
That's it.
And
It's so
you know
good.
they built this login. They didn't outsource this to some
Oh no.
VC backed.
Fancy.
They just friggin'
No.
decrypt the passwords and check it against the database.
Oh,
What's
this
the
is so good.
problem, Ian, with nicotine? Tell me why nicotine's bad.
Well, I mean, I think it's addictive and it's bad for
Yeah.
you. Like, I don't know. If you
So's
smoke it, I think
aspartame.
it's worse because it's
Yes,
like
agreed.
actually getting into your lungs.
And
we're
all
gonna
the
play
other
doctors
stuff.
again here.
Yeah. Listen to us for sure. This is
I
medical
don't
advice.
know if the nicotine in and of itself, if you're just injecting it into your blood through your skin, is actually bad for you, or if it's only in smoke form. I kind of think it might. At least I'm pretty sure it's definitely worse for you in smoke form. So
right,
I guess
the
this is an
tobacco's the
upgrade,
bad part, right?
right? And I think just
And
that
like the
smoke, like
tars
hot
and stuff.
smoke, and tars and stuff getting inside your lungs is bad. So if you do it this way, it's probably better, I guess. But see, to me, I don't know. I don't know if have you known a lot of smokers in your life?
No, not even hardly any.
Okay, so I've known a lot of smokers, and the thing about smoking is like the nicotine is part of it, but like a huge part of it is like the social and physical aspects to it. Like you're holding this thing, you're inhaling this thing, you're bumming cigarettes off people outside of a building. You're like, there is a whole like cultural aspect to it that is part of like the addiction and the appeal. That like, hey, I just slapped this patch on me, I don't think is going to satisfy. Obviously, like if you're just using this to get off of smoking, that's like a different sort of thing, and you're trying to at least get through the chemical part of the addiction. But I don't know.
I'm not gonna make any friends popping his in.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Like you're not gonna be like, hey, let me bum a cigarette off you and let's sit outside this building and smoke and chat and make a single serving friend because I got a cigarette off you. That was a whole thing.
Interesting.
I saw it a million times. That's how it was in the old days.
Yeah, it sounds like the word on the street to me.
It is.
All right, so we'll hold off. We'll hold off. I won't become a nicotine guy.
You might want to wait till you get other things settled down a little and then start the nicotine.
I just,
are you a cigar man?
Kind of bad.
Cigar?
No,
I like a cigar.
Cigars are gross.
Oh no, cigar is good. Cigar with a scotch.
No, Scotch is gross. Scotch tastes like a campfire.
Well, if you get bad Scotch, that's true. But if you get good Scotch,
all Scotch and all mezcal tastes like a charred end of a stick.
No, you get the Macallan goes down. It's so sweet and delicious.
It's peaty. It's too peaty.
No, it's so good.
I don't want peaty.
I just want the Macallan. It's great.
And when I go to a fancy cocktail bar and they're like, we can make you a smoky old fashioned. I'm like, I don't want that. Don't put my old fashioned in a little container and then smoke it and charge me an extra $4 for it. I don't want that.
I'm not a big fan of smoke flavor and things, and I tend to not like the peaty, smoky scotches. But I like the Glenlivet. It's okay, but the ones that are heavier or the ones that are more like chemically, I don't really care for. But the Macallan is just so sweet. It's not even peaty at all.
You can bring some to Laracon and I'll try it, but I'm not guaranteeing anything.
That's what we'll do. I wish I had stocked up pre-COVID. They were going for like the good ones were like $200 a bottle, $250. Now it's like $500. Like
whoa!
Now it's like
okay, don't bring it to Laracon. I don't want to.
No, we'll have some. I'll bring you a bottle.
Okay.
We'll sit and get drunk on the Macallan. It'll be great.
And we'll throw in some Zins and walk around and make some friends.
Here's your patch. We'll get Zins. We'll get Zins with our logo printed on them, and we could just be handing them out.
Can you imagine walking up to like an awesome group of smokers who are just like as cool as ever and be like, in a way, I am also smoking because I have a Zin. So we're the same.
This is when nerds are totally taken over. It's so funny. Oh, man.
All right, Ian, read us out.
Oh man. Oh no, wait, what's going on here? Things are happening. All right. I say let's wrap it there. Let's see. Get my little list of things to read through. All right. Follow us on mostlytechnical.com. on the Twitter at mostlytechpod, and email us at mostlytechnicalpodcast@gmail.com, and we will probably read it and talk about it on the show. Thanks, everybody. Have a good week.
See ya.
Later.